There we are. Hello again, First Assembly Family and Connect Groups. It's Pastor Craig again. I'll be sharing with you again this week. I did a second message in our series, Relationships That Last, and this one was entitled Out of Love. The first one I did was In Love, and now we're out of love. Actually, very symbolic of a lot of relationships in our country, right? We fell in love, we dated, we got together, and then we fell out of love. It's the terms we, as our nation or as people, we hear a lot of, almost like love is something that we're subject to, right? I talked a little bit about that a couple of weeks ago. Like we're slaves to it. We have no control over it. I couldn't help it. I fell in love with this person, and just as easily as I was taken over by those emotions, then they left, and now I've fallen out of love. And biblically speaking, it's quite opposite. From what the Bible has to say. And we talked a little bit about that a couple of weeks ago. I hope the questions I posed to you were helpful. I pray the Holy Spirit just led your discussions and you were able to glean some information on what about true love is. And this week we're talking about falling, or if you will, out of love and how that looks. So I got the note today. I completely forgot to do it, so it's this Wednesday, and I'm trying to get this as done efficiently and as quickly as I can, because I have a big afternoon schedule and I won't be here on Thursday. So if it seems hasty, it is. So last Sunday we talked about out of love, like I said, and again it was another light service, a lot of snow. So we had 3 weeks in a row where we had snow, half service, half people attended, no service, and then another half service. But we preached the word, and I pray that even if you weren't there, that you might get something out of this. So to go, some questions you can have here as I look at my notes. One of the things we talked about last week was the seriousness of divorce and how it affects parents, children, families, either in that nuclear family or beyond it. And one question that I would like you to talk about, or if you feel comfortable sharing, is maybe how divorce has affected you. Either personally, your own parents, or you in general, or family. How has it affected you? And again, biblically speaking, we talked about how God hates divorce, and maybe you can share a little bit about why He hates divorce. We did last Sunday in service, and feel free to use if you remember any of the points I made about that. Second question for you is what makes a successful marriage? I closed with an anecdote, if you will, from, do I keep saying if you will? I'm sorry. An anecdote from my mother-in-law and father-in-law. They're marriage counselors. And one thing they shared with me was that there are 5 keys to successful marriages. And they said the first one was selflessness, and the last one was selflessness, and everyone in between was selflessness. Their point, of course, being just like what makes a good business, location, location, location. That selflessness is integral to a happy, successful, healthy marriage. So I'd like for you to talk about that, if you can. Why is that the case? Why is it important that you be selfless in a relationship? We talked a little bit about, and this might help you, about what true love is. True love is unconditional. You don't get into a relationship with somebody, say you're going to love them, commanded to love them according to 1 John, and expect something in return. That's not true love. That's love with stipulations. That's conditional love. It means if you do right by me or what my expectations are, then I will pour out love to you. And that's not biblical. That might be the world's way of thinking. You know, you're not helping me, you're not for me, you're not acting the way I want you to, therefore I'm out. But we can't live that way. All right? We'll always let each other down. If we took that mindset, then we'd never be in relationships for very long. So what does that mean in terms of selflessness? How does that help for a successful marriage relationship? In any relationship, if you think about it too, selflessness is very important. And then you can look up Ephesians 5:21. I'll try and say it from memory. Submit yourselves to one another out of reverence for Christ. I'd like you to talk about that, again, in relationship to marriage. And then also, what other aspects besides submitting to one another make a successful relationship in marriage? And then, are they intertwined with selflessness, or they get to selflessness? Do you find selflessness being the root of a good marriage, or any of these? You know, Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, body, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. If you follow these 2 commandments, and everything else falls under those. In other words, if you love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to steal from them. You'll keep that commandment. You're not going to kill them. You'll keep that commandment. You won't envy them. You'll keep that commandment. I think you might find something very similar to that in great aspects of a marriage. You'll find that the root of that might just lead right back to selflessness. But you can feel free to discuss that and look at that. And then back to Ephesians 5:21, how do we follow this command? Because it is a command. And then why do we follow this command? So a lot to discuss. I'm praying for you. I pray it is going to be a good group tonight, and you'll have a great conversation that God will speak to you. Thank you for listening over these last couple of weeks. I've really enjoyed it. I pray that you're blessed and that I've been faithful to God, and that you'll grow in your relationship with Him and with each other. So God bless you. Have a great evening.